It's these tempo workouts that make me so hungry in my tummy. But when I've been improving, that's when I really get into the feasting mood. You know, I'd rather eat ice cream instead of this little chicken walking around. But I figured out how to stay consistent with my diet by just making better tasting food. So here's a recipe that lets me take chicken from the fridge to the plate in less than 45 minutes with a carb and some veg to balance it out as a full meal. And we go with chicken thighs, because that's what I like. They hold the moisture in a lot better and the flavor. They might have a little bit more fat and with the skin, but it's worth it for me personally. I'll get the chicken out, but I'll turn the oven on to 425 as early as possible. I want it to be hot enough so it's like a little sauna for the chicken, so that we can reduce a little stress for this little birdie before we eat it. Then I'll fill a pot with quinoa and we'll turn that heat up to boiling, and we'll keep an eye on it because we don't want it to overflow like I have so many times and turned my stove into a little quinoa soup. It's quinoa, not soup. Then as the oven climbs to 425, I like to race it by prepping the chicken as fast as I can, where I will drizzle the salt, shake as a pepper. I'll add paprika, garlic powder, cumin, Burberry sometimes. It's a dry rub. And I measure everything by pretending I'm a woman. Not like that, but it's like I'm doing makeup. Can I see the chicken underneath? Yes or no? That's how I know when it's done on one side. Then I'll gok 3000 that olive oil all over a Pyrex. And I'm okay with it being extra virgin. Then I'll place the chicken in there, and don't listen to them if they complain it's too crowded, because they'll shrink when they get into the oven. They usually will complain, so I just drown them in olive oil before sending them into the sauna. And by this time the quinoa should be boiling, and I'll just turn the stove off at this point so it finishes with the residual heat and it doesn't burn the quinoa as the water fully absorbs into the grain. Burnt quinoa does not taste that good. Then I'll prep the veg and the plating and the condiments. Like sometimes I go to a local Mexican restaurant and pick up some authentic La Victoria orange sauce with chiles de árbol. But if you're leaving the house like this, do it fast, because the chicken only takes 18 minutes or so to cook through. Like, you don't want to burn it. That's a joke. Do not leave your oven unattended. Then I like to use the shittiest kitchen oven mitts that I can possibly find to get that food out and plate it. And usually by this point, I'll just want to eat it standing up because it's so good, and I'll skip the plating shot. If you manage to cook this meal, enjoy your gains and all that. Plus, you have a nice sauce in the pan with lots of collagen to, in theory, strengthen your tendons. And you can put this on your leftover quinoa, leftover rice, leftover chicken.